Hello, this is Taya Gherkin. I'm one of the senior editors at Acoustic Guitar, and today I'm here with 5 clip-on guitar tuners. An electronic tuner is probably one of the first accessories that most guitarists end up getting, and whether you're a beginner or an experienced player, a tuner really comes in handy. Clip-on tuners work really well in somewhat noisier environments, like at a jam session or at a gig where there's outside noises that might throw a tuner that works simply on a microphone basis off, because clip-on tuners use a little piezo pickup that's built into the clip, and it senses the vibration of the guitar through the headstock, and therefore they work whether there's outside sounds or not. Some of these clip-on tuners also use a little built-in microphone. You can switch between the two sources so that if you do want to use it with instruments other than guitars, for example, that you can't clip the tuner to, you can still use it. The first tuner we're going to look at is the Crafter TG200H. The Crafter is the smallest tuner of the bunch that we're going to look at. It has a couple different modes. You can use it as a chromatic tuner. You can set it to guitar tuning only, in which case it will only sense EAD, GBE, standard guitar tuning. It has a little switch on the top that you can use to switch from piezo mode, where it senses the vibration of the instrument, to a microphone mode. It has a nice backlit display. You can also use this to tune slightly flat or sharp if you need to tune to another instrument, let's say a piano that you can't easily retune but that's slightly flat. You can recalibrate the tuner, and that's actually the case with all the tuners we're going to look at, so it's a very useful feature. So the tuner clips right onto the headstock and has a nice little swivel mechanism, so you can adjust it whichever way you can see it best. And one nice thing about the Crafter tuner is that besides having the LCD readout that centers in the middle of the tuner to tell you whether you're in tune or not, it also changes color from orange to green. So it's really easy to see in a dark environment like on a stage. The next tuner we're going to look at is the Planet Waves headstock tuner. The Planet Waves headstock tuner has a list price of $49.99, and it only has one mode. It's a chromatic tuner mode, which is the most important tuner mode for most players. It can also be recalibrated for slightly flat or slightly sharp playing. And it's a little different than most other headstock tuners in that the clip is really integrated into the main tuner. It doesn't rest on top of an additional clip like most other tuners do, which means there are less moving parts to this. And I think it's much less likely to get damaged if you had it inside a gig bag with all your other stuff. It's a very sturdy design. You could probably put this in your pocket and it wouldn't break. Clips right on as the other tuners do, and it also has a color changing function. It's a sort of a dark red when you're sharp or flat, and a nice green. The whole display changes to a nice green as the note is in tune. Works very well. Next up, we have the Sabine Z1000 tuner. It's part of that Zoid line of tuners. This is a tuner that has a list price of $39.95, and it does use the swivel mechanism, has a separate clip, and the tuner rests on top of that. Sabine really was a pioneer in making miniature tuners. Their AX line of tuners, which has been around for years, actually sticks to the top of the instruments and senses vibration that way. And recently, the company's Zoid line of tuners takes that concept to the headstock of the guitar. And the Sabine tuner also can be recalibrated, has a microphone or pickup built in. Instead of a switch, there's a multi-function button that accesses that feature. And it sticks up from the guitar a little bit more than some of the clip-on tuners, which may be useful for certain headstocks or certain players who can see it better this way. And like the other two tuners we've looked at so far, the Sabine changes color from kind of an orange to a bright green as the string is in tune, besides of course having the LCD readout with a simulated needle. Next up we have the Seiko STX1 tuner. This tuner has a list price of $65.95, and it's the largest tuner of the bunch that we've looked at. It's a very sturdy clip that actually opens very wide, so if you have a headstock that's very thick, that some of the other tuners may not fit. I didn't experience this with any guitars I tried it with, but some custom instruments or instruments other than guitars may have a very thick headstock, and this would definitely fit on there. The Seiko has one feature that none of the other tuners actually have, in that it actually has a sound generator built in. So if you wanted to tune by ear, you could use it as a reference. Let me see if I can show that here. There it is. There's a C sharp note, and you can go through all the different pitches chromatically and use that to tune your guitar. Clip to the headstock. Tuner is very easy to see, and besides the LCD readout, it also has an array of little LEDs that show you which pitch is currently being played. So the visual reference on the Seiko tuner is slightly different from the other tuners that we showed you, and some players may find this easier to read than the LCD only displays found on the other tuners. Finally, we have the TuneTech TT500 tuner. It's a tuner that has a list price of $34.95, and it's also available under a couple of different brands. It's available as the Intelli tuner, and it's also available under the Mizell brand, and there may be even some others out there. The TuneTech TT500 has a bright green display. It doesn't change color as you're tuning, but it has a very nice analog needle feel to it that feels much like using an old school tuner that had an actual moving needle built in. As the other tuners, it can be recalibrated for flat or sharp tunings. And once this clips to the headstock, it's really quite visible, and it doesn't add a lot of weight to the guitar. So that's our review of 5 clip-on tuners. There are some additional choices available on the market. For example, IntelliTouch and Korg both have been leaders in this field for a long time, and at the time of our review they were about to introduce new models, so stay tuned for some more information on those. One thing to keep in mind with these clip-on tuners is that they all work quite well, but they all look and feel a little bit different, and which one works best for you really comes down to your own personal preference. I would highly recommend checking these out before you make a decision which one is right for you. You can read the full review of these tuners in the April 2009 issue of Acoustic Guitar, or right here online at acousticguitar.com. My name is Thea Gherkin. Thank you.